So welcome to Inclusive Intake. This is obviously just a wireframe to get an idea of how the product will work. First, organizations will set up their account. So if you're a not-for-profit working with the unhoused, then you can come in here and have the ability to provide information about your organization, editing here, the description of what your organization does. This would be blank to begin with. We'll talk about how to create intake forms later and what those are. And then you can add staff and permissions for your staff. So if you want your staff to be able to create forms, to be able to edit information about a client, or let's say you're the Salvation Army and you only want a staff member to have access to information about a local clients, then you can set all of that here. So once that is set up, you're going to want to create those intake forms we were talking about. So every organization provides different types of services. Here are the kind of generalized buckets of those services. So you've got childcare and parenting. You can think of childcare matches or subsidies, kind of distribution of clothing or personal items, referrals to other resources, etc. So here we've checked childcare match. So we're going to try to find a childcare provider for a child in need. You can name that here. So perhaps you want to have a different form for toddlers versus teenagers, whatever it might be. So you can name that here for your own sake. It will show up as you name it. And here's where you start building your form. So for every service providers collect different information. So we will have all of the various fields that you may want to collect about a client here, all the way down through. Some of those questions we're trying to avoid asking multiple times. Things such as how many times have you been homeless in the past 2 years, and are you fleeing abuse, things like that. So once that has been created and you know what your form should look like, it will bring up a blank form and allow you to review what you have selected. If you need to edit again, obviously you can go back and select different fields or change them out. And then once you save the form, you will see it here labeled childcare. So that is setting up your services, what you provide, setting up your organization. When you meet with a client, you will determine what services that you would like to provide for that client. So here we have obviously a deeper list of forms to choose from, but here we've got a couple diversion services, emergency shelter wait list, a play group for a kid, and then you can click through and you can begin searching for the client. So if the client is anonymous, we will have that option. We will have some security questions and probably a birth date to be able to verify the identity of someone who needs to remain anonymous, but that way we can get to the same unique entry in our database, make sure we're tracking them through services effectively. If they are not anonymous, then you can start searching for the client. You can verify that that is who they are. We are going to provide several options for how someone might be verified. By giving this information, they are agreeing to provide you access. So that's why the script over here is where it is. You read that script, they decide that they're going to answer a security question, which will populate down here. And then once they have answered that security question, provided you that information, then the forms for your client and the services you want to provide for them will be pulled up. Any information that's already been entered about this client, so name, social security number, living situation, city, phone number, all will be pre-populated. If phone number is changed, you can verify that if you'd like and change it. You can add all of these other fields that you need. Once you hit submit, not only will this information be logged here for Inclusive Intake users, but we will provide integration services with the service provider's home system so that they don't have to change their reporting, they don't have to change any of their current day-to-day operations. They can use the systems that they need to use for the provision of services and the reporting that they currently do. We will push this information into those systems for them. Once you click that, you have a client record. So if we go just back here, you can access this here as well. Again, same similar kind of experience to get to a client record. And what this will do is pull up your account history for that organization. We will have an option at some point to see someone's full service history, permissions based, obviously, by the individual, the client themselves. But that will be good for caseworkers and things like that. So that is Inclusive Intake. That is what we're going to build and start sharing with all of the service providers that we can, so that they can avoid asking the same questions over and over again of their clients, save all of that time, but again, start to actually compile the data that can be used to see how people best move through the web of services that are out there to reach the best outcomes that they can. All right. Thank you very much.